Well, Mr. President, in January of this year, as we opened this legislative session, both sides promoted the belief that it was necessary to work together in a collaborative, bipartisan way to better our state, to improve the people and the working families here in Michigan. Fast forward to today, 5 short months later, let's set aside the fact that Republican members of the Senate Appropriations Committee were forced to vote on billions of dollars of spending in committee mere minutes after being presented with the final product. Let's set aside the fact that some subcommittees did not even receive final budget analysis of those documents until after the committees had moved the bills out of those subcommittees. Let's focus on the fact that this week, Senate Republicans offered over 170 amendments to this budget, and not one was accepted by the majority party, not one. How is that working together to better our state? What did Senate Democrats say? They said no to providing hundreds of millions of dollars to schools, community colleges, universities to make their institutions safer, including additional school resource officers. They said no to providing real investment to our local communities to strengthen and improve our roads and bridges and water and wastewater systems. Senate Democrats said no to paying down hundreds of millions of dollars in long-term debt, and instead decided to continue to kick the can down the road again. One of my colleagues offered an amendment suggesting that it would be better to spend $75 million on tutoring for Michigan's struggling students. Still trying to catch up from the forced shutdowns, something I thought we could all support to help accelerate and help our students. Senate Democrats said no to that and decided the money was better spent on electric school buses. They said no to $5 million for local law enforcement grants that would have provided hiring and retention bonuses for our officers. Senate Democrats are giving $500 million again next year to some of the most politically connected, profitable multinational corporations and opposed our amendments to dedicate those funds to tax relief, roads and bridges, water infrastructure. They even rejected our attempt to prevent Michigan taxpayer dollars from going to companies that have signed pledges to the Chinese Communist Party in their governing corporate documents. Senate Democrats even said no to preserving our legislative authority to appropriate, allowing the governor to simply move money, millions or sometimes even billions of dollars around with essentially just a stroke of her pen. Unfortunately, Mr. President, the only thing that disappeared as fast as the Democrats' call for bipartisanship was the $9 billion surplus they blew through on their spending spree. That they said yes to. And I truly hope that these issues can be addressed as this process moves forward. The consensus revenue estimating conference that's coming up, I think, provides another reset button for us to try to work together to provide a balanced, responsible budget that has bipartisan input and support is what Michigan residents, our families, small businesses, and seniors expect from us. But that includes ongoing tax relief, better roads and water infrastructure, stronger schools and educational opportunities for our kids, and paying down long-term debt so our kids and grandkids aren't saddled with huge expenses. These are things that we can all agree on. And I look forward to working across the aisle, continue to have my hand stretched. You have an example of several items that we can work together on from these amendments that we presented this week. However, we continue on our current trajectory. I foresee some real challenges, but I hope we can work together and sit down in a collaborative, bipartisan way. Thank you, Mr. President.